let's get this year's garden started. In this video, I am going to show you how I'm winter sowing and what I am planting in this go around. Now, winter sowing is the easiest way to start seeds. So if you're looking for a way to get started in seed starting, this is the method for you. We've already planted 1,300 tulips in the raised beds. Now it's time to get a start on our cool weather annuals and our perennials. Now, I'm doing mostly flowers this go around, but you can definitely do the same sort of thing with a lot of different types of vegetables. We are going to use regular, ordinary jugs. As long as they are partially see-through or completely see-through, they are going to work for you because you want that sunlight to get into that container. First of all, let's talk about what winter sowing is. Winter sowing is a way to create tiny little greenhouses in your yard out of common household garbage. We're going to fix these up into tiny little greenhouses and get them out in the yard, and the only maintenance that you'll need to do for them is possibly water if you don't get enough rain. I'm telling you, this is the easiest way to start seeds. All right, what you're gonna need, of course, is some sort of jug. It could be a milk jug, it can be a half-gallon jug, it can be an old vinegar jug that's been cleaned really well. You're going to need something sharp to cut them with. Going to need some tape to tape them up. Regular packing tape is what I use. Some markers and a marking pen, a garden marking pen. Now, I made my first mistake the first couple of years of using permanent marker, and permanent marker is not permanent when it's in your garden. Garden markers, permanent. This was written last year, still can read it. It was out in the garden all year long. I brought it back in not very long ago, and you can see there's no wear and tear on that. And we're going to need some soil to put into these little greenhouses. And of course, we're going to need some seeds. I've conveniently put them into one container, the ones that we are going to be winter sowing. That's how many more we have to go this year. All right. Now, I actually have 3 containers that I used last year. The first 2 containers actually had seeds in them. This was a sweet pea merlot. Actually, there was in vanillas. I labeled them incorrectly. And these had Cinderella snaps. But I am going to redo them, reuse these containers. They're perfectly fine. And then I have another one that I prepared last year, but it didn't get used. So 3 ready to go. I'm going to show you how to prepare. We want to poke a hole near the handle, and then I'm going to take scissors because I'm prone to self-injury, and we are going to cut it almost all the way around. So we have a nice little hinged container. Ew, with a spider in it to use as our greenhouse. I'm going to prepare a couple of more here. All right, now we need holes in the bottom. Yes, I should have done this before I cut them. There we go. That's easier. Basically, you just don't want the seeds to be sitting in a lot of water. So put enough drainage holes for that not to happen in your area. We get a lot of water, so I am putting in a lot of drainage holes. Ew. Okay, yeah, dead spider. Go away, dead spider. Yes, I'm a freak. Go away, dead spider. I hate spiders. Alright, we've got a little bit of soil here ready to go, but let's go get a little bit more from the greenhouse. Alright, I'm going to invite you into the greenhouse, but no judgment. Yes, there's lots to be done still on the list for this year. some of the compost we have left over from last year. I tucked away into one of the garbage cans here, and I have another one over there. Yeah. Can you tell there's a clean spot here against the dirty spot? That's what it all looked like. And that's what we want it to look like. You can also use potting soil. But if you have really good compost, I recommend it. My goal right now is to use compost and only compost. I like to consider myself a lazy gardener. So if I can get away without doing some sort of steps in the process, that's the method I'm going to use. So far, I've only used compost, and I have had success with that. So when I come across something that doesn't work well in compost, I will let you know. All right, it's looking pretty good. You don't have to have a lot of soil in here. They're not going to be in here for a very long time. Well, they shouldn't be in here for a very long time. You might forget. It's been known to happen. That's what we're looking for. It's good. 3 inches of soil. 1 down. And sometimes you just don't need that many seeds. These are great for when you need a reasonable amount of seeds. Or a reasonable amount of seedlings, I guess. Last year I did sweet peas, and I don't know how many seeds I put in there. 50? 60? It was a lot. It was way more. It was way more than a person should put into one of these containers. And yet, I had lots and lots and lots of plants. Don't do that one. All right, let's see. Let's get this out of the way. And let's see what we're planting. Today we're doing mostly snapdragons. I also have a package of asters. The reason I've chosen snapdragons and asters today in our very first winter sowing session here is because snapdragons are very, very slow to grow. And so I'm giving them quite the head start. It's 10, 12 weeks ahead of time that you want to start snapdragons. You can get away with starting them later, but if you really want to enjoy the blooms, well, I can get away with starting them later because we don't get really warm temperatures in the summertime. But if you live somewhere where it does get warm, you're going to want to get a head start on your snapdragons as well. First seeds we are going to be growing are snapdragons from our front bed. We call the Brady bed. I have no idea what they actually are. They were here when we got here. They're this beautiful kind of raspberry sherbet, orangey color, and they're just beautiful. So I went ahead and collected some seeds from last year. The snapdragon seeds are very, very tiny. It looks like I have a lot. So I'm going to put them in a little container. Kind of just lets me see what I'm doing. Push that down just a little bit. Don't want it too firm, but you do want it kind of flat. Now snapdragons need light to germinate, so we're going to just put them on top of the soil and let them go. Spray them down with some water and then let them go. A lot. I have probably 50 seeds in there. Don't be like Carrie. You must label. So these are Brady bunch. From the Potomac series of snapdragons, I have 3 different types. I have the early orange that I grew last year and I collected the seeds. They are open pollinated. Open pollinated means that they will produce the same type of plant from the seeds. So Potomacs are open pollinated. I also this year got the Potomac red and also the Potomac apple blossom. So we're going to start all 3 of these snaps. I'm going to make sure I wipe out my container because these seeds are super tiny and I don't want to combine them. Again, there are a lot of seeds in here. The Potomac snapdragons are considered a group 3 or group 4, which means that they do well with longer days, more light, and more heat. So if you live in an area that has a warm summer, they might be better for you. Madam butterflies are closer to a type 4, and so they do well with long day length and the heat as well. I've noticed that snapdragons here act as perennials, so they come back each year. I don't know how long they will do that for, but let's see. Oh, now there's a lot less seeds in here. Potomac red also will be open pollinated, so we will be able to collect the seeds. Ooh, that's all that we have. Holy cow. Alright, Potomac apple blossom. I don't buy very many of the seeds when they're open pollinated. If they're open pollinated, we can collect those seeds for next year. I might have overseeded the first batch. Alright, next we're going to do the Chantilly's. We have the Chantilly light pink from Florette. Now Chantilly's like cool weather. They are a cool weather flower. They fall into a group 1 or group 2 that actually can be a winter flowering snapdragon and an early spring snapdragon. I think that the Chantilly's will do really well here because we have a really cool weather. And I also started putting snapdragons right here outside of this window, and it gets morning sun but is protected from the afternoon sun, and I think the Chantilly's will do well there. The Potomacs that I put there got pretty leggy, so I know they want more light than I gave them last year. So I'm going to put the Potomacs elsewhere and put some Chantilly's here and see how they do. These are also open pollinated, so we'll be able to collect these seeds from these blooms and have them for next year. And now the Madam Butterfly snapdragons. Again, I got these from Florette, and they are the Madam Butterfly bronze. This will be the first time I've grown both the Chantilly's and the Madam Butterflies. But the snapdragons have done really, really well here. And I just think they're just so beautiful. Now, the Madam Butterflies are not open pollinated. They are a hybrid, and so the seeds we collect from them would not come true to the plant. So we won't be collecting the Madam Butterfly seeds. If we decide we want to grow those again next year, we'll need to reinvest in seeds. Alright, there's all of our snaps. The last thing we have to do are our asters. Again, I've never grown asters. Alright, now for security, we are going to put little labels inside our containers. Here is my early orange I had from last year. Already have the label. We're good to go. Now we're just going to give them a little bit of water. Alright, let's get these guys buttoned up. I planned on putting all these cool annuals in a new bed where the chickens are. We were originally going to move the chickens into the front yard to prepare new beds there, and then we were going to take over the raised beds, or the beds that they were at, with these new guys. Well, the chickens didn't get moved, and so we're hunting. And so where these are going exactly, we're not sure. But right now, we're going to take them out to the yard. there's our first round of winter sowing done. As you saw, there's a lot more seeds to go. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. If you want to find out what's happening to these snaps, subscribe. Until next time, thanks for visiting.